Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be engraving a couple of Yeti tumblers. I'm going to be showing you a few tips and tricks to get these just right on the first try. These can be a little bit intimidating as they go for around $45 Canadian, so you don't want to mess up too many of them. They can get a little bit expensive, and you definitely don't want to mess one up for a customer. I was lucky enough to find this one on the side of the road, so I'm going to sacrifice it for you today, do a little bit of a settings test, and just show you overall a couple tips and tricks. Some of this stuff is going to be specific to the longer Ray 5. I'll have a link to that below. The other information is pretty universal. Now to get started, we have to install our risers for the legs. As you can see, the laser is not going to be able to engrave that Yeti at this specific height. So this is a product I offer on my store. This is a set of legs you can cut on your own laser. They clip right onto the legs and give you enough height to do tumblers. Okay, so we've got the laser lifted up. It's nice and sturdy, as you can see. I highly recommend this upgrade for your longer Ray 5. Everyone who's bought this from my store has said it's a really nice upgrade. It makes it a lot easier than stacking paint cans, pop cans, whatever you might use. Currently, this is just a much nicer upgrade. So the next thing we need to do if you're going to be doing a tumbler is get one of these little rings installed. Now this is the 20-ounce tumbler. I also have the larger ring for the 887 mil Rambler as well as the 739 mil Rambler. They are tapered, obviously, so they don't really roll nicely on the longer roller. It tends to run away. If you're using a chuck style roller, it's a little bit different, but for something like this, you need these rings to keep it level. Otherwise, your laser will be out of focus as it moves towards the skinnier end of the cup. Now these are nice and easy to install, and they fit nicely on these 4" by 4" blanks I get from Amazon. I'll put a link to these below. Saves you running these cuts out of a big 16 by 16 sheet, but like I said, nice and easy to install. They just slip on. You kind of want to rotate the cup as you rotate the ring and just get a nice snug fit. I'll put it on the roller now and show you how they work. I do have another video on setting up the roller in Lightburn. I'll link that up above if you want to check that out. But once I have the roller set up, I have my tumbler on there, I like to come into Lightburn, use the little position tool here, and just click in the very top corner of the workspace. It's going to let the roller do a full lap and just make sure nothing's going to go out of place. And then I'll usually run it back once again, make sure the ring's not going to fall off and nothing is moving funny on the roller. So we're all set up now. I'm going to run a settings test. If you've ever engraved one of these tumblers, you know the settings can be a little funny. As you can see down here, I was doing some practicing. I didn't quite get it perfect. A lot of people, when they go to do their first tumbler, they actually put the power way too high and the engraving comes out black. Now when it comes out black, your first thought is, oh, I didn't have the power high enough, or I didn't have the speed low enough, and I didn't take the paint all the way off. It's usually actually the opposite. You've gone too hot and you've burned the paint so badly that it's kind of stuck to the stainless steel of the tumbler. So for this settings test, I'm going to be running the setting, or the power setting, between 45 and 60% power, and the speed between 2500 and 3500 millimeters per minute. So that's kind of the sweet spot. I'm going to run just sort of a sacrificial test on this cup. It is a good idea to basically sacrifice a cup like this before you start doing this work for customers. Keep this cup on hand with your settings test on it as a good reminder of what works and what does not work. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start on Lightburn and we'll see how it comes out. Alright guys, well here are the final results. Everything came out pretty good. It might be a little bit hard to tell on camera, but I would probably go with the top square, the 50% power at 2500 millimeters. Any of those top three really came out pretty good. The bottom two are just a little bit darker. I think 60% power is just a hair too hot. And it left not quite as shiny of a finish. I also had a bit of an issue over here. This is another reason why you got to test these things before you do them for people. I was trying out a feature over here called crosshatch. Did not work for me at all. I've seen it recommended in the forums and the Facebook groups right there, crosshatch. Basically, it runs your laser horizontally and then it runs vertically as well. It hits the square twice, but for some reason it was throwing off my whole project. It was just double engraving stuff. It was being really strange. I also forgot to mirror it on the one, so I can't recommend crosshatch. I'm not sure if I did something wrong with that, but it did not work for me whatsoever. So definitely don't forget to mirror the output. Depending on what you're doing, it's one of these two options right here that will mirror the project to the tumbler. Another tip is you can put some painter's tape on a tumbler and run it at very, very low power if you just want to be double sure that everything's going to come out the way you wanted. It'll just put a light line in the tape. It'll be easy to peel off and it won't leave any marks in the tumbler. And my third and final tip is take the lid off. If you forget to take this lid off, you go to start your cut, everything looks good, and boom. you hit the little tab on the lid and your whole project is pretty much ruined. So I would definitely take the lid off. Other than that, these two rings are available on my store. If you want to get either of those, they will work for this one, as well as the one with the handle. It's roughly the same size. The bottom is the same. Obviously, that adds a whole other level of difficulty when you're doing the one with the handle, but I'll put the link to these below, as well as the lift kit, the jig, all the stuff I have on my store. Thank you guys for the feedback. So far, everybody has loved it, and I've just made one for the 20 watt as well. The 20 watt has a larger head, so the jig had to be modified a little bit for a customer of mine. Thanks to him for pointing that out. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.